this kind of turn out some of the best wrestlers, not just in the state but in the country, here to support Charli?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. The support. I think there's two stories here, right? There's the support for Charli, who is battling every day, and then which when she sees everybody in a room like this, it pushes her to keep battling, right? She's like, wow, I have all this support and love. This is awesome. And then there's the story of these two 16, 17-year-old kids that are taking time out of their day to give back. And that's pretty incredible. It's something that I don't think you see often, or often enough, I guess I should say. And it's awesome to see these kids give back in a way like this. I think it's beautiful.
Let's go to the first story and go into the beginning.
Yeah.
What is Charli battling?
She has, sorry, I know
you're
I
fine.
talk a lot.
Either
You
way.
go.
Charli has B-cell ALL, which is acute lymphoblastoma, leukemia.
ALL.
She has B-cell ALL, high risk. She is been battling since June of 2023. She's in what's supposed to be 8 months of intense chemotherapy, which is a little bit longer because we've had some hiccups along the way. And then it's a year and a half of maintenance. So maintenance is at-home chemotherapy and once a month clinic visits.
Wow. So she's
Yeah.
already passed the initial 8 months.
Yeah, but she still has a little over 4 months to go with the intense chemo. She has had blood infections. She's had neurotoxicity where she lost all movement. She's had over 40 bags of blood transfusions and platelet transfusions. She's had a difficult journey, but she's, I feel like, on the path of recovery at this point, and she's doing really well.
How did it start? What were the initial signs that you guys knew something was wrong?
It's actually interesting because a lot of this ties into wrestling, not directly in a causal way, but at Naiway last year, she had some injuries accumulating on one side of her neck and shoulder. And that had nothing to do with the leukemia itself necessarily, but it kept her acute to that area of her body. And she noticed a nodule or a bump on her neck. And it didn't hurt, but it was there. So we started paying attention to it. And then a couple more showed up. And then the first one started to hurt. And then after that, we, of course, went through the medical process of getting it taken care of. And that's where we started.
How scary is that as a parent? It's
Terrifying.
worst nightmare to hear.
Yeah,
Leukemia or cancer.
terrifying. I will say when we got the diagnosis, her oncologist came into the emergency room and said, she has leukemia, but it's curable. And I think I made her repeat it 2,700 times. I kept saying, tell me again, it's curable. And she kept saying, it's curable. It's going to be a long road, but she'll be okay. And that's just what stuck with me this whole time. But yeah, nobody wants that diagnosis.
How has she handled it? I mean, it's tough for anybody to handle that, but I've seen her smile, and
Yeah.
I've seen some of the videos. It seems like she's still that uplifting.
She is.
She is a champ. So her body doesn't work the way she wants it to. A couple weeks ago, she wanted to walk, so she stood up and walked by herself. Got one amazing step in. The next step, she fell, sprained her heel. It is what it is, but she's always going to be a champ about it.
How does wrestling come into play there? Has she wrestled her whole life?
She started in second grade. And I think that wrestling, I should say Charli, when she started, she would come off the mat. She would lose a lot. And she'd come off the mat smiling. She'd be like, what'd I do wrong? She always had a smile on her face, always a positive attitude. And I think that's who she is in general. And wrestling has taught her, you don't give up. Doesn't matter if you lose. Doesn't matter if you get terrible news. You keep battling, and you'll get the wins. And that's what she's done.
She broke her elbow once wrestling.
Yeah, she broke her
and
elbow.
kept wrestling. She broke her foot, and I think it was Coach Keneally,
Yeah.
who had to tell her to take a break. We didn't know she'd broken her foot. We found out when she sprained her heel walking,
Yeah.
when they found a mended broken foot at Ortho New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
She-
she's tough.
She
Yeah.
is, yeah. She broke her elbow in like the second round of a match, and I didn't know until the match was over in the third round. And she's like, I'm pretty sure I hurt my elbow. pretty sure it's broken, and it was. But that's just who she is. But yeah, wrestling teaches you so much. You don't give up, right?
And this room, so as we were driving here, it reminded me, this was the first, it was a scrimmage, right? The first event that we went to outside of just the Burnt Hills, like, tight community was here at Niskayuna. And right here on this match, she went against a kid who was super aggressive, which is great, and she got hurt. And this was the first time, yes, she gets hurt and keeps wrestling all the time, but something took the wind out of her. And Jamie Palinga, who's involved in the wrestling program at Burnt Hills, took her in the hallway, they talked, and Charli just redoubled her efforts and said, yes, I'm sticking to wrestling. So that grit and that family of supporting. I wasn't a wrestler, you weren't a wrestler, but we are incredibly blessed to be part of this wrestling family now because there's nothing like it.
What drew her to wrestling if it wasn't a family background?
So Steve Jones, who's the Burnt Hills varsity wrestling coach, is also the Charlton Heights PE gym teacher. And he tries to recruit all the kids. It's like, wrestling's the best sport. You gotta wrestle, you gotta wrestle. So she came home in second grade and she's like, Coach Jones keeps saying we have to wrestle. So I feel like I just need to go and wrestle. And I was like, oh, okay. And literally first time on the mat, she was hooked. And that was it. That's all it took. Yeah.
And you guys have mentioned it, the community. I mean, that is what makes wrestling really special, and it's being exemplified today. You know, if one wrestler is hurt, everybody's willing to rally behind that wrestler. How much does that mean to know that, again, these people are here for Charli?
Everything.
It means everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's just watching the coach talk at the beginning of the practice. I'm maybe an overly emotional human being, but I'm sitting here getting choked up as I think of just not so much that it's the challenges that Charli's facing, but by how galvanizing it is to the community, how everyone's thinking of it when we wouldn't think of it. Like we're just living it, and it's like, oh, this day in, day out, and then it's like, we're gonna do this for Charli. And yes, day in, day out, this is our main focus. We're gonna support Charli, but they don't have to wake up in the same house. They don't have to see this every day, and they put themselves in the position of being supportive, and it's a massive blessing.
You've kind of already touched on it. So what's next? What's the timeline look like for Charli for treatment?
So we have about 4.5 months, as long as everything goes smoothly from here on out, of intense treatment. So that means like she's getting multiple chemotherapies through her port multiple times a week. And then after that, which we're hoping around June, we're done with that. Then she takes a chemo pill at home every day until December 13th, 2025.
You got that marked on the calendar?
I sure do, yeah. So.
I know it's a long road, and there's still a lot that needs to be accomplished.
Yeah.
What would it mean to see her eventually back on the mat with these kids?
She
Yeah.
took fourth at Niway when she had leukemia. Let's see what she can do without it.
Yeah.
And just the process of getting there, as he was saying in the opening thing, wins and losses don't count, but it feels good to be part of the team pushing for him.
Yeah, when she first got diagnosed, I think the second sentence that came out of her mouth after, am I going to be okay, was, I came in fourth at Niway with cancer. Can't wait to see what I can do after. And I was like, yes. So, wrestling is in her blood. I mean, she loves it. So, yeah, it's going to be amazing.
What's NIWA stand for?
New York Wrestling Youth Association. Association of Youth,
And was
yeah.
that girls or girls and boys?
So it's girls and boys, but she wrestled in the girls division. Yep.
I know there's
Yeah.
been that transition recently.
Yeah,
which is
yep.
awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
which is great, the numbers.
Yeah.
Do these people have a girls program?
They do. This is their first year. They have a girls varsity program. So, yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
In a couple of years, we'll see her.
Yes.